Alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm doing well, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. How's everything?
Good, alhamdulillah. Just getting the conversation started. People are excited. This is a topic. It's like today we're going to be talking about how to mend broken relationships. And, I feel like this is something people suffer in silence a lot
Yeah,
about, and there's so much shame around it.
definitely, definitely, definitely. Um, the first thing that comes to mind is, and this is something we kind of talk about in the Embrace course, inshallah ta'ala. So, this is just like the tip of the iceberg regarding this conversation. But I think a lot of this building and mending relationships, it begins with us, right? It begins with us. There's so much within ourselves that we haven't really figured out and understood, and a lot of that inner noise that we have, we sabotage the relationships, right? We really sabotage them, and we're not setting up the relationship starting from a neutral point. Now keep your seatbelt on, please. So I think that's so important in the conversation, is like the more you understand yourself, the more you have clarity on your own feelings, and the more you have clarity. One thing we talked about yesterday with communication was, uh, one of the problems is we ourselves don't know how to articulate our own needs. And so when other people struggle to help us fulfill those needs, when other people try to fulfill those needs that we have, how can they do that when we ourselves can't even articulate what it is that we truly want, right? So it's extremely important for us to spend more time learning how to articulate, verbalize, and truly come to terms with what it is that we want from a relationship, and then communicating that with those that we are trying to establish those deep relationships with, right? So I think a lot of it begins right there. A lot of it begins with us understanding ourselves on a deeper level. And then after we've done that, we have to learn how to communicate those feelings to other people in a way that doesn't. Okay, you guys get out. Go ahead. In a way um, that doesn't make the other person defensive or attacks the other person, right? Things like that. So I think that's the first place that we got to begin for sure.
I love that so much. And I think that point of like listening to yourself and being aware, if I can just add a layer and you can build on this, Sheikh, is so much of the relationships that subhanallah break, or one of the roots of it is the ego. And that ego, when it's not being checked, or you're not, subhanallah, putting it through that lens of I think, subhanallah taqwa, that's kind of like where it can run wild. And I think that's where so many relationships get broken. Like, how dare they say this to me, right? And so we're not necessarily listening for what the pain under that person was, because we're not even tuned into, like, it's what you always say, right? We don't listen to understand, we listen to respond. And I think
Yeah.
that's that ego that shows up, like we're just already in reactive mode.
Yeah, there's two things to what you said that I think are really important for everyone to like hold on to. Number one, the point, the ego is what's getting in the way of so many of our relationships. Number one. Number two, like sometimes we're dealing with people that don't have the most emotional intelligence, and they could come from the right place, but when they come in the wrong manner, then our ego is just completely just offended, and we feel attacked, and now it's not about the relationship anymore, it's about myself, it's about me. And so that's so critical, recognizing when your ego is feeling hurt, and now you're going into a defensive phase, and you're not even discussing anymore the issue. You're actually just literally, it's just a fight. It's just now who can win here in the conversation, or who can win in this and whatever the issue is. So and that point that you brought about the ego, that again goes back to having a deeper understanding of ourselves. And what happens is this: all of us, we're all growing. What's funny is when we look at children and we understand that they're not, they haven't reached complete maturity yet, and so they're still in the process of growing and learning. But what we don't realize is, even as adults, we're still in the process of growing and learning. We're still in a process of always, as I say, we're still evolving in a way in ourselves. And so one of the things that I think is very important, and I wrote about this in my book, and it's something that we talk about in the Embrace course that everyone should definitely sign up for. One of the things that is super, super important is to come to a conversation with someone that you've known for the last 10, 15 years, to come to that conversation as if they're a new human being, as if there's something new that you can gain from them and learn from them, and perspectives. We often go into conversations with people that we've known for a long time as if I already know everything that you're going to say. There's nothing that you can say that I haven't heard from you, which I understand completely where it comes from, but I want you to compare how you listen to a spouse of 10 years, 15 years versus someone you just met at the airport. You listen completely different. You listen with a level of eagerness and openness and wanting to, I look at it this way, like the human being is such a complex creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's so much beauty and depth in each human being. But when we come to the person as a book that I've already read, right? If we come to it as a book that I've already read, then it's problematic. It's
Yeah.
so problematic, right? So problematic. So look at people, give them a fresh new start, and allow yourself to start fresh with every person. And that alone, there's a level of openness and willingness to listen that we have with other people that we need to bring back into the relationships that we have every
Yeah.
day.
That's such a beautiful point. One of the top researchers in like the secular marriage space, Dr. Gottman, he talks about this idea of your spouse is a map, and this map is always being more details are being added, and so I feel like it's also coming to inshallah this humility that we need in relationships, and obviously our relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that uluhiyah, that humility of servitude and servanthood, that also in relationships we need to have this humility of I don't know everything about you. And just as I love that you use this idea. They're a book that, I already read. Well, guess what? Our books are never done till our final
Yes.
breath. Like chapters are being added. And alhamdulillah, when you can approach your marriage with that, it's transformative. So you guys, Shaykh has been referencing the Embrace course. This is alhamdulillah a module he covers in there of how to better communicate. Alhamdulillah, this is, I wouldn't say it's the course. Honestly, Shaykh, I've been framing it as like the ultimate alhamdulillah spiritual self-care. Like if you
Yeah.
have been feeling stuck in your relationship and connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is alhamdulillah a full, curriculum, because at Discover You, it's not just about give you like a one class or one workshop. Like, and that's why we wanted to bring Shaykh Mikaeel on, because mashallah, he approaches it with this holistic program. And so this course has modules that are literally taking you on this journey of transformation. And students who took this last year with us, that's the word, like I'm quoting them when they say this has been transformative for my life, for my relationships, how I show up at work. Alhamdulillah, it's teaching you to finally start internally, listen to yourself. What does it mean to, alhamdulillah, detox and connect with yourself and quiet all the inner noises? There's a line that Shaykh you shared, and I wrote it down because I loved it so much, and we're going to definitely do a post on it, quoting you. Shaykh said on the first day, we had just had a challenge, and you said, when you quiet, all the noise, and when you quiet all the noise, everything becomes clear. And it was
Yeah.
just simple, but so profound. And I feel like that's like the pain of so many people right now is they are so unclear. They're so lost. They're just, going with whatever the way the wind blows. And so alhamdulillah, this course, the starting point that Shaykh Mikaeel it takes you through, just one element is quieting that noise. So alhamdulillah, you can finally see clearly and move forward more clearly. So that
Yeah.
the link is in the bio for both of our accounts here to go register. There's an early bird offer that's up till tonight, inshallah. So I highly encourage you, if you're benefiting and you're loving like what he's sharing right now, this is just a tidbit.
Yeah. Yeah. The quieting the noise part, what it is like the phrase that I use is, sounds that we don't understand, no matter how beautiful they are, it creates like a cacophony within us, right? It creates a cacophony within us. But when sound has meaning, then it becomes a symphony. Then it becomes something that is meaningful and powerful. And so here's what we don't realize. We often think that our frustration in our relationships is with other people, but in reality, if we got to the core, the frustration is with ourselves. The frustration is with ourselves, that if your spouse or your loved one or whoever was to really ask, well, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? a lot of us would sit there and almost be in tears to the point where we're like, well, I really don't know. I really don't know. And then the question is, well, how can I give you what you don't know you want? Right? How can I give you what you can't articulate what you want? And I attribute a lot of this to this non-stop stream of information through social media and everything coming into our brains 24/7. Of course, social media has its pros, and there's so many good things. But when anything in excess is dangerous, and the danger affiliated with extreme social media usage is a disassociation with the self, and a lack of clarity on my own goals and my own motivations and what will bring me fulfillment, right? That's what's so dangerous, right? What will bring me fulfillment? So I think it's very critical, extremely critical for us to have time by ourselves so we understand our own motivations, understand our own needs, and understand what is most critical to our self and well-being, right? That's what's definitely important for us. MashaAllah, I see Hudayfa is with us online, MashaAllah. Barakallah feek, Hudayfa, and all of your social activism, MashaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow them to see a free Masjid Aqsa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to all be means of change and reform in this world, inshallah ta'ala. Can't ever let that go from our minds, inshallah ta'ala.
Absolutely. And I hope that, inshallah, when we make that commitment to do better, Shaykh, alhamdulillah, like we're, inshallah, part of that solution, of that dua that you just made.
Yes.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take responsibility for our growth and for the circles that we do contribute to. And again, if you're being influenced by noise, go ahead.
Yeah, one more thing, Sister Razia. One of the things that really hit me was this, and it's connected to Philistine. It's connected to our ummah. One of the things that really hit me is we have been seeing for the last, 10 months and decades, the destruction of families. Right, the loss of sons and daughters and mothers and brothers and fathers, and we're sitting over here, and we're trying to do whatever we can when it comes to speaking up and this and that, right? And we have to keep doing that without a shadow of a doubt. But at the same time, there's a level of shukr that we have to show for the blessings that we do have, right? Yeah. There's blessings that, and by seeing what's happening to families, our own Muslim brothers' families, sisters' families, we have to then think, wait, I have a son that is here right now. I have a daughter. I have a father that's here right now. There are people in our ummah that would do anything to be able to see their father again, to see their mother again, to see their neighbor again. And here we are neglecting the very relationships that others would do anything to have back, right? They would do anything to have those relationships back. So what it reminded me was, if I truly want to show gratitude to Allah for the blessing of family, then I have to honor those relationships, show that love, and mend those relationships, right? Yeah, some of us in this stream haven't talked to relatives. What's up? I'm in a call. Some of us haven't mended relationships for months and months and months. And I ask you, like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it when we see families being literally torn apart? Is it really worth it? So value family, realize the importance of connection to family. And as I said, that comes at the beginning core. It comes to, first of all, working on yourself. And second of all, as you said, having the humility to be the one to work to rectify and mend those relationships. Life is too short. Life is too short. We have to work on these relationships and do whatever it takes to fix those bonds. Now, is there going to be dysfunction within our families? Yes, of course. If we look at every single prophet of Allah, alayhi salatu wasalam, that is mentioned in the Quran, every single one of them, there's some level of family dysfunction. Like you take Noah, it's the dysfunction with his son. If you take Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, it's the dysfunction with his father. If you take Asya, she's not a prophet, of course, but it's an example in the Quran. It's with her husband. Every single example, Joseph, it's with his brothers, right? Over and over and over again, we understand that there's a level of dysfunction that is the struggle of the believer, that we're struggling to overcome, that we're struggling to mend those relationships, and that is the righteous pursuit right there.
And we could have a whole session, Shaykh, on just that, what you shared, because there's so much hikmah in why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has made it obligatory. Like you cannot sever family ties, because if you can get that right, the world's yours.
Yeah.
Right? If you can, inshallah, have that humility, if you can have the level of khidmah and understanding and compassion with them, like you can do it with strangers. It's
Yeah.
here where it's the true jihad al-nafs, subhanallah.
Yeah, and if you get it right there, these are the building blocks of civilization and society. A lot of the problems that we see in society, we know they stem from a dysfunctional family. They stem from a dysfunctional family, and so we can't neglect that part of the solution to the bigger problem begins within the nuclear family. That's where it begins. It begins right there. That's the beginning of it.
Love it, subhanAllah. So we're going to pause there because, like I said, I could pick Sheikh Mikael's brain all day and we could go back and forth. So there's so many amazing gems. May Allah bless you, Sheikh. So excited for this course. The registration's open, you guys. Go have a look at it. See what it's about. Go look at the modules, alhamdulillah. If you've been waiting for a program that really takes you through this journey of transformation, that gives you, alhamdulillah, real tools. Each module, Sheikh Mikaeel gives activities, prompts, questions to help you dig deeper. This is a program that does all of that. And then, alhamdulillah, there's two kind of levels you can join. And the one level, mashallah, level 2, you actually get coaching with Sheikh Mikaeel over 3 months. So he'll be on, inshallah. You can do, ask questions, get coached, case studies, really, alhamdulillah, intimate and an opportunity to kind of go deeper. So very exciting opportunity if you wanted to always kind of have that interaction with him and benefit from him and really get some feedback. So I invite you, go have a look. The links are in our bio. Alhamdulillah, early bird ends tonight. You get $100 off. So very exciting. And Manal just joined. Assalamu alaikum, Manal. Good to see you on, mashallah. She started a movement of surviving hijab out in the Middle East, Shaykh. Mashallah, millions of sisters loving their hijab and holding that true. So nice to see you on. Alhamdulillah. All right, Shaykh, we will see you soon, and we'll be back next Thursday with another final live, inshallah.
Inshallah, sounds good. Let's do it, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.